All right, let's talk about reps in reserve, RIR. This is the second piece to understanding how to auto-regulate your training and really gauge the intensity of your workouts. So we've covered RPE, rate of perceived exertion. RIR is very similar. It uses a similar scale, 1 to 10, except instead of gauging the intensity, what you're doing is actually estimating how many more reps you could have done in addition to the reps you've just completed in a set. Okay, so the closer or, the higher up the scale we get, the closer to failure we get, with 10 literally being failure. You couldn't do any more reps or lift any more weight. So it's kind of like RPE inverted, but not quite, because we're not just gauging intensity, we're actually gauging where failure is in any given exercise. So it is a brilliant technique to understand how close you are to failure. And this is going to help you to really understand, one, what you're capable of, and two, actually train at the proper intensity to get results. So see an example of RIR in action. Let's say that you just performed 8 reps of push-ups, but you felt like you could have done 2 more. For that set, your RIR would be 2, because you're estimating that you had 2 more in the tank. Pretty simple, right? Now, the benefits, like I said before, is that you're going to train at the optimal proximity to failure. If we want to build muscle, if we want to tone, if we want to get stronger, we have to go close to failure, but we're not trying to push to failure, right? We're going to try and stop a couple reps short. It's also really going to prevent the excessive slowdown of reps, or that grinding out of those last few reps, which puts you in a pretty vulnerable position for injury, right? It obviously allows you to auto-regulate your capabilities, so you can actually start to judge the intensity of a set. And it's a really helpful way for monitoring progressive overload. And it's a bit more accurate than just reps and weight lifted, because your failure, right, your max effort is going to be pushed out as you get stronger. So let's see what RIR actually looks like in action. Got 2 examples for you. We're going to look at overestimating, and then we're going to look at underestimating. Okay, so when we're trying to build muscle, when we're trying to tone and basically build muscle, we want to be working with about 2 reps in reserve. Generally, that's an effective target. Okay, so in this example, we're doing a goblet squat, so with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. And I want you doing about 8 to 10 reps. So you've got a bit of a rep range, and your RIR target is 2. Okay, so this is going to allow you to train close to muscular failure. It's going to maximize metabolic stress, and it's going to, really increase mechanical tension, which are all key drivers of putting on muscle. So this is here what you've actually done. All right, we've got 4 sets. Now, set 1, you pick up 20 kilos and you do 10 reps. And at the end of that set, it feels like you could have done another 2. Fantastic. You absolutely nailed the assignment there. Okay, you take a break. And then for set 2, you pick up the same 20 kilos, but this time you get 9 reps. And that feels like you've got 2 left in the tank. Awesome. That weight is still appropriate because you stayed in the rep range of 8 to 10 and you still had a 2 RIR. Fantastic. Now set 3, same 20 kilos, but this time you only get to do 8 reps because you're becoming a bit more tired, right? Your muscles are fatiguing. That's okay. Again, you're still in the rep range of 8 to 10 and you've backed off when you feel like you've hit that 2 RIR. Perfect. Now, set 4 is where we clearly see that actually the weight needs to be reduced, okay? Because you pick up that same 20 kilos, but this time you can only get 7 reps, and that feels like you're very close to failure. It feels like maybe you could have only gotten 1 more, okay? That is a sign that the 20 kilos is getting too heavy to sustain the rep range with a 2 RIR left. So for your next dumbbell or goblet squat workout, you'd probably need to actually decrease that weight to about 18 kilos. And that would allow you to get back into the range of 8 to 10 reps while hitting that RIR target. So this is a great example of overestimating your weight. Underestimating obviously has the same consequences, right? So we've got the same exercise, the same rep ranges, and the same reps in reserve target. But this time you pick up a 16 kilo dumbbell and you get 10 reps. So you're in that rep range, you're on the higher end, but once you've finished that set, you go, oh, I probably had 4 more in me. Great. That's a sign that that weight needs to go up. It was far too easy. Now, for set 2, you pick up the 18 kilo dumbbell. So you've picked up a heavier weight. This time you get 10 reps. That was a 2 RIR. Okay. So this indicates that you probably need to go up a little bit. The weight needs to go up a little bit more. Okay. You are in the rep range and you have hit a 2 RIR. So technically that is fantastic, right? But you up it to 20 kilos. So we've started from 16, we've gone to 18. Now we pick up 20 and you get 9 reps and that feels like a 2 RIR. Beautiful stuff. Now we're actually working closer to the weight and the intensity needed to build muscle, okay, for your level, right? So picking up that 20 kilo and getting 9 reps is perfect. Set 4, you stick with the 20 kilos, and this time you get 8 reps. Again, it feels like a 2 RIR, which is fantastic, and that signals that that weight is actually indeed the weight that you need to start with. And you've done a really good job of using RIR and listening to your feedback to adjust the weight each set. And you've quickly course corrected so that you're actually picking up the proper weight. Now, I know this can be a little bit of information, but it really is a key of just looking at what the reps in reserve target is. If that is part of your workout, I typically use RPE, okay, because that's a little bit more subjective and is a little bit more helpful than reps in reserve, especially when we're actually not trying to get to failure or really training for strength, right? So if RIR is in your program, just focus on that number, pick up a weight, do a set, and get a feel for it and go, how many more could I have done? If you could have done way more, the weight needs to go up. If you were already really close to failure, weight needs to come down. And that's how you course correct. And please do remember that RPE and RIR, they are a skill, just like lifting weights, just like learning nutrition, just like learning a language, right? In the beginning, you're not going to know what it feels like or what failure even looks like for you, especially if you're new to listening, if you're new to lifting and listening to your body. So the more you do it, the better you will become at using RPE and RIR. And any questions about this, please do let me know, because it can be a lot to get your head around, but these really are the tools in order to see the best results from your training. So hopefully this is helpful. It's given you a little bit of an idea of, how to gauge intensity for your training, and you can go into your next workout and feel like a weapon.